Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, you must become the victor. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about and joked about the absolutely atrocious design of the main character of Intergalactic. It looks just like a joke. And, you know, it's par and parcel for the Western video game industry, where they believe that you are obligated, if you're a quote-unquote good person, you're an enlightened person, to make your female characters intentionally unattractive. And the thing is, they've done this for years now. Years. Longer than I think people are willing to admit. Because this is something that happened in Mass Effect Andromeda. This is something that happened in the Sony Spider-Man games. Over and over, we see that there is a push from Western studios to intentionally make the female characters more unattractive. So, that being said, there are artists out there, professional artists, that are going to work and undoing the damage that these studios are causing, not only to the franchise, not only to that particular character, but to the entire team of people. The entire company is hurt by the ideology and the mentality of these Western studios. And we see that because time and time again, these companies make these woke choices, double and triple down on them, attack the audience, attack the consumer, say you have to get used to this, there's no other choice, we don't want to even entertain your recommendations. And at the end of the day, what happens? Nobody buys the game. The studio fails after a title or two goes by the wayside. And then unemployment. The firings, the layoffs come. And the waters of unemployment and lack of employment are frigid. So, we're going to watch a video today from a YouTube channel called Blacklist Universe. This is an incredibly talented artist, and normally I wouldn't do this. But I think that it is absolutely important that we watch this, because here you have an artist that doesn't have the mental brain rot of a lot of these artists within the gaming industry. This person is just simply going based on the task presented. Make an 80s style badass female character that's going to appeal to the target demographic. And I think that he does a fantastic job. And I think that this sort of content should be highlighted to show these companies you don't have to make your characters ugly. You don't have to make them hideous. You also don't have to turn them into digital prostitutes. You can do something that is a best of both worlds situation rather than what you've done, which is the worst of all worlds. Without further ado, let's give this a watch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Blacklist Universe. This is Mike once again, your 32-year comic book industry veteran. And yes, I am drawing these in comic book style, so those of you looking for 3D models, look somewhere else. I am back doing another intergalactic character design for the lead character, played by Tati Gabrielle. Now, you may not have seen my previous character design for this, but I didn't use Tati Gabrielle because I didn't want to insult her as an actress. I didn't want to say that she was ugly. She's not ugly. She's a beautiful young lady. And so,
okay, so maybe he's a little more, I don't know what the word I would use. Calling her a very attractive, very beautiful young lady, no. She's better looking than the character in the game, but I mean, let's not get crazy here. She's not all that particularly attractive.
So this time, instead of creating an entirely different character, I'm using Tati Gabrielle as the character, but I'm just giving her a costume that I think would be more appealing. It's funny, some of it even kind of references her from photos I've seen of her, so I don't think it would be something she's necessarily against. But one of the things I did kind of comment in the previous video, and do check it out if you haven't seen it already, is if I was really going full on 80s, which is the look they were going for. They're going for this 80s science fiction manga look, where they came out and said, I guess, that they were referencing Akira, and they were referencing Cowboy Bebop, and obviously Alien. And so I used those to be my sort of my key points for design this time around. Before I get into that, a lot of you guys are watching this video, but you are not subscribing. If you want to see more of this content, you want to see more of me redesigning characters that should have never been this ugly, please hit that subscribe button and join the family here. We're screaming up to 13,000, and if you can get in there before we hit 13,000, then you get the moniker of the 13. You don't want to be one of them nasty 14s, right? Get in there, be a 13. And if it's too late by the time you watch this, then be a 14, because you don't want to be one of them nasty 15s. On with the video. So I took, here you can see I am drawing her face. I'm referencing her face as I would draw her, trying to make it look, you know, as close to her and as feminine as she is.
He's actually very good.
Instead of the androgynous, weird, unattractive version of her that they created, which I say it again, she's not unattractive. So the version they created that is unattractive, they changed just a little bit here and there. They gave her eyes a little different shape. They got rid of any eyelashes she had. They even went so far as to remove the natural color of her lips.
Watch what he does with
so
the
that
hair.
She looked like she had corpse lips. You know how like corpses sometimes, like, I don't know, they lose all color in the lips. That's what they did to her. They purposefully.
So I mean, we'll fast forward a
first draft.
My
brain automatically goes, okay, so the best way for you to hide her identity is to remove anything that might cover her face.
He brings up a good point. You know, one of the reasons that they say, oh, she's bald because she shaved her head to hide. And he brings up a good point. It's like, wait a minute. So in order to hide, she shaved her head, which means what? Like all of the ways that you could hide her face, you know, via her hair, you just get rid of it. Yeah, it's a completely stupid and contrived explanation. They wanted to go for it because they wanted to do this, you know, masculine thing. They wanted to have her bald. They gave her masculine features because Neil Druckmann is a major disgusting pervert, and he's a weirdo, and he's a creep, and he has this weird thing where, you know, maybe he's just an outright homosexual, but whatever the reason is, he likes women that look like men. This is not anything new. It just is who he is.
And I just sort of blankly stared into the distance as I thought about that. Honestly, if you're going to hide her identity, give her like really long bangs. Something that would, you know, put her in... Oh, shoot, that's another... I forgot to put her in glasses again. I might have to do a third take.
Wearing a mask?
I don't know. The previous video is doing pretty well, so I thought it might be worth...
doing the whole like Princess Leia thing, wearing a helmet.
Worth my time to do a second take and just kind of take into account not only the stuff I discovered here, but I mean, not the stuff I discovered in the leaks, but also a lot of the comments you guys have been leaving have been making me think, oh yeah, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that, maybe I should, you know, and then I just kept reading. So I'm reading all the comments. I'm trying to comment on every single one. If you have any comments on this, whether it's my inking, whether it's how I'm doing hair, whether it's the character itself, if you agree with me, disagree with me, please do leave a comment in the comment section.
I've been getting shit from some people saying, oh, you just do AI art. No, I appreciate talented artists. I really do. And maybe I'll do another video on my position on AI and why I don't have as much of an issue with it. But I think that a good artist is better than AI, but AI is better than a bad artist. I saw that in my comment section, and I agree with it. I think that that's absolutely true. A talented artist that has a mission, has a purpose, doing something like this, that can follow directions, follow the task at hand, I think that is preferable. But in my experience in the gaming industry, it seems like that's not what happens. So if that's not the case, if you can't get that, then the next best thing is to put it through a machine that can be taught to do that in a more efficient and a more effective way.
Below and let me know your thoughts on this whole process. And if you don't like this one, tell me if you think I should do a third one. I don't want to milk this too hard, but it is fun because I grew up in the 80s, so this is kind of my wheelhouse, and I realize it's taking from the Fae from Cowboy,
it makes the hair
inspired by
super
it too.
long.
And then
It makes the outfit
the
attractive.
gloves
It actually gives it
and the boots. And so I was kind of wanting to hit on design.
Gauntlet,
Here's
cool
the
boots.
a beautiful young lady as your main character, which if you didn't realize like right off the bat that you were going to turn off at least half of your possible audience, how are you guys still in business?
That's true.
You're in the business of making...
And when you're in an echo chamber like that, you have a bunch of freaks, a bunch of mentally ill, degenerate perverts, a bunch of left-wing lunatics that are all gassing each other up, saying, no, gamers are bad and toxic and misogynistic and all that stuff. And in the meantime, this guy comes along and he creates a design within a, I'm sure it took him longer to do this than 15 minutes, but he comes along and within a 15-minute video designs a character.
Money. Yeah, I know
that is so far above what was in the game that it inspired me to make this video. This design that he's coming out with is so much... there's no comparison. There's just none. This character looks interesting. Look at that. Look at that. Is that not way, way, way cooler and more interesting looking? Look at that. Is that not way cooler and way more interesting looking than what we got? I think it is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And then look at that. Well, I think this guy accomplished the task. He completed the mission. And it just goes to show you what happens when you get people who are very good at what they do, that are given the freedom to make something that you know the audience is going to like. If this were the main character of Intergalactic, there would not be one person that was talking about how disappointed they were. Not one. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe there would be a couple people. But the vast majority of people would be A-okay. They'd be like, I think this is pretty good. I don't have a lot to complain about. I think that people will be extremely cool with this sort of design. Look at that. That looks awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I've got more videos to do and stuff like that. But first and foremost, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. It's almost Christmas Eve. On top of that, I would like to, encourage you, if you haven't yet, to subscribe to the channel. This was a ship post on my community tab that is part of a long string of ship posts. And if you like that sort of thing, this is what you get at no particular cost. And so my message, if you want to call it a message, is that we don't have to accept and tolerate the grotesquification of women in these products. We just don't. And the sooner that gamers realize that you have the power to say no, the quicker that these studios are either going to go out of business or come on board and do what needs to be done, which is to make Yeah, let's make women attractive again. Moi. Make women attractive again. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the support. And I'll see you next time.